Hi, everyone. One theory that really stood out to me is the functional perspective on group decision making. Basically, it says that the quality of a group's decision depends on how well the group communicates through kind of four key steps: analyzing the problem, setting clear goals, coming up with different options, and then really thinking through some of the pros and cons of each of those options. It also points out that not all communication actually helps. Some of it helps move the group forward, some of it derails things, and honestly, I kind of feel like this happens more than people like to admit as far as derailment goes. And then the rest of it, I think, brings the group back on track. This theory kind of really resonates with me, especially at work. I've been in plenty of meetings lately, especially when we kind of miss key steps. We kind of jump straight to the solution without really defining what the problem or looking at other options are. And it really usually always comes back and bites us later. In ag, we usually use a simple analogy to kind of explain how to approach projects. We want to, prepare, plant, apply, and harvest. You want to prepare the soil, plant the idea, fertilize it with support and planting, and then we're able to harvest the rewards towards the end of the project. I think this ties in perfectly with the functional perspectives. The meetings that always go the best are the ones where we slow down and really follow that same mindset. Take time to define what we're asking or what we're trying to solve for, talk through all the possibilities together as a group, and then at the end, weigh the pros and cons before making a final decision together. I also think that this helps with some group interactions that might feel tense or frustrating as a whole. When people kind of skip or talk over each other, it really creates confusion, wastes time. But the theory shows that it's actually pretty normal because not all communication is productive. Knowing that makes it easier to kind of stay calm and focus on steering things back on track to come up with a solution together. For me, the series suggests some really practical steps that we can take it all the time. At work, I've gotten better about speaking up when things feel rushed or off track, saying things like, are we sure and clear what success looks like out of this? What else can we do before we try deciding as a group? Those little questions, seem to help get the group refocus and avoid mistakes that might cost us later down the road. If more people thought this way, I feel like they weren't afraid to slow the process down. I think it would really save everybody a lot of time and frustrations in the long run. I even think that this approach could, really help out in my personal life, whether it's planning something for my family, a trip, or a group event, or making a big decision or something along those lines with friends. Really slowing down and being intentional about the process almost leads to better results and better relationships. Thank you.